Now, what you're about to see isn't just a president signing executive orders. It's a complete dismantling of the administrative state as we know it. In the last 24 hours, Donald Trump has signed more consequential executive actions than most presidents do in a year. But here's what's really interesting, and the media won't tell you this part. He's not just undoing Biden's policies, he's going after the deep state infrastructure itself, revoking security clearances from 51 former intelligence officials. That's not normal. The Coast Guard commandant fired over DEI, unprecedented. And folks, this is only the beginning. And you know what the deep state fears more than Trump's executive orders? Gold. That's right. While they have been printing money into oblivion, something interesting has been happening. The smart money, the real power players, they've been quietly stockpiling precious metals. Why? Because they know what's coming. When Trump starts dismantling their financial control systems, gold will be the ultimate hedge against their chaos. Call my friends at Global Gold Investments. The number's on the screen, 888-700-4148, and get your free 2025 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. Make sure you mention Next News for a complimentary portfolio analysis. Don't wait. Call that number on the screen, 888-700-4148, or just visit the link in the description, iragoldproof.com. Okay, we got a lot of news to kick into here. Yes, we are now in the golden age of America, my friends. I am so excited, but don't let your guard down. I just got a message from Tom. You know Tom. Yes, that Tom. And he's like, Gary, I got some breaking news for you. And here it is. This was unexpected, but we're now learning. Wall Street Apes has just posted that planned attacks are coming. And they state here that this person you see on the screen here was out with James O'Keefe and the O'Keefe Media Group in the California desert, and they found an unlocked Syrian phone. Listen to what he says.
Calling teacher. I was out with OMG with James O'Keefe in the California desert, and April was out there too. And she's really good at finding stuff on the ground. She finds money, all this other stuff. She found an unlocked phone from a Syrian man when we happened to have a guy from Iraq on the crew with us who spoke Arabic. And we're going through this phone. There's Telegram, voice messages. There's all this stuff. Calls are coming. We charged the phone because it was dead. Calls are coming in. They're still going, hey, are you here? Have you gotten to San Diego yet? And I ran this by one of my good buddies who's high-speed military guy, and he goes, dude, that's a cell. So basically there was this guy that kept calling teacher who was in Turkey, and these were Syrian men going, teacher, where do we go now? We're trying to get close to San Diego. And they go, okay, this guy's going to take you here. This guy knows Spanish and Arabic, so you're going to meet up with this guy. Try to get to San Diego as fast as you can. There was no calls on there going, hey, mom, I made it. I've seen plenty of illegal aliens, Cubans and stuff come across, and they do what Auden B. Cabello calls the selfie effect, which is, hey, look, I just crossed the river. Hey, mom. Hi, dad, which brings more people. There was none of that. This was strictly business. I was out with
strictly business. So, folks, planned attacks are coming, according to this leak from the O'Keefe Media Group. So keep your guard up, especially in San Diego. Now, moving on to this momentous day in American history, Marco Rubio has been sworn in as the 72nd Secretary of State. We're watching you, Marco. We know. We ain't going to play no neocon games with you. All right? So, we're going to watch you. But Donald Trump, I picked you. I know, talk softly and carry a big stick. Maybe you're the big stick, but Donald Trump doesn't talk softly. Here it is.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Marco Rubio.
I, Marco Rubio.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend.
That I will support and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
Without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office on which I am about to enter.
The duties of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Secretary.
Wow, okay. We're going to see a lot of that. A lot of swearing in at Donald Trump's new team that he is assembling of MAGA Avengers. Here we have Senate Majority Whip President Trump is off to a very strong and very fast start. Oh, yes, he is.
Begins first, President Trump is off to a very strong and a very fast start. I thought that the speech yesterday was so uplifting, outstanding, optimistic. It's what we want to hear as Americans, that the golden age of our country, of America, begins right now. That's what people wanted to hear. That's what people, Dana, in our home state of Wyoming, were looking for, and I've been hearing from them throughout the day. The executive orders were critical on the energy, on the environment, on the economy, on the border. All of those things are so critical for our country, for the safety and the prosperity of America. And first, President Trump is off to a...
Oh, yes, we are off to a rocking start. 200. This is from Representative Andy Ogle's 200 America First executive actions in one night. Holy cow, baby.
Congressman, good morning. Your reaction in particular to the wide swath of action we saw on the border.
Well, I had dinner with the president just a few days ago, and he was talking about 100 and 120 executive orders, and man, did he promise and deliver, hitting 200. But that being said, we all know that this country's been invaded over the last 4 years under the failed policies of Joe Biden, and that was kind of the referendum, that was the election, that we fix and secure the border. And that's what Donald Trump has done and will do as we get back to a normal immigration policy, fighting crime, and getting, quite frankly, we're going to have a large deportation process as we go forward. People are here illegally. If you want to come here, you got to follow our laws.
Hey, just follow the laws. It's that simple. Just follow the laws. Oh, this is only the beginning, my friends. Here is Marco Rubio. Again, this is just 2 hours ago, and he was making his remarks.
Interacted with many. I am new to this department. Today is my first day on the job, literally, but I am not a stranger to it. I've interacted with many of you, both in my travels abroad and in our daily functions. My job now is different, and our job in some ways will be different. In our republic, the voters decide the course of our nation, both domestically and abroad, and they have elected Donald J. Trump as our president when it comes to foreign policy on a very clear mission. And that mission is to ensure that our foreign policy is centered on one thing, and that is the advancement of our national interest, which they have clearly defined through his campaign as anything that makes us stronger or safer or more prosperous. And that will be our mission. That will be our job across the world, is to ensure that we have a foreign policy that advances the national interest of the United States. I expect every nation on earth to advance their national interests. And in those instances, and I hope there will be many, in which our national interest and theirs align, we look forward to working with them. This is in many ways, and again it was referenced by President Trump yesterday in his speech, that he designs, that his overriding goal for global policy is the promotion of peace, the avoidance of conflict. And no agency will be more critical in that regard than this one. In fact, it's its founding principle and purpose. And that's what we endeavor to do, to promote peace around the world, because that's in our national interest. Without peace, it is hard to be a strong nation, a prosperous nation, and one that is better off. I am new to this.
Okay. I like his opening statements to the State Department. I can jive with that, but we got our eye on you, Marco. And then we got this, Kathleen Winchell, first time in 4 years, we're actually in the room, in our living room. He is the best president ever. Look at this photograph that was taken. Look at all those executive orders. Look at all those cameras. Baby, we are back. We are back, baby. President Trump. Oh, and then you guys see this? The setup that happened today? Oh, yes. They couldn't wait to just bring the digs right to President Trump. This happened. President Trump, this is 2 hours ago, he had the National Prayer Service. President Trump got chastised by a woke bishop at the National Prayer Service. It was a total setup. Nick Sortor says it even seems Trump rolled his eyes after the bishop started lecturing him on transgender children and illegals. Watch this.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President. Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God. In the name of our God, I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now.
Oh, come on.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families.
Wow.
Some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops.
Oh, wow.
And clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals. They may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples.
Wow.
I ask you to have mercy, Mr. President, on those in our communities whose
hang on, we got to pause this. She's lecturing the president from the pulpit. The bishopess. Really? Maybe she needs to revisit scripture to understand her role. Perhaps. What do you think? I think so. Wow.
that their parents will be taken away, and that you help those who are fleeing war zones and persecution in their own lands to find compassion and welcome here. Our God teaches us that we are to be merciful to the stranger, for we were all once strangers in this land. May God grant us the strength and courage to honor the dignity of every human being, to speak the truth to one another in love, and walk humbly with each other and our God for the good of all people in this nation and the world.
You know, I can only say that her life review is going to be a bitch when this moment is brought back up. Get behind me, Satan, please. Get behind me, Satan. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah, getting lectured right there at the National Prayer Service. What kind of a church is this? Not any church that I would ever attend. But of course, it's in Washington, D.C., so what do you expect? We got the new press secretary. She's already hitting the news cycle, and she has this to say.
Announcement. I can confirm that the American people won't be hearing from me today. They'll be hearing from the leader of the free world once again. President Trump will be speaking to the press later this afternoon at the White House, and we will have a big infrastructure announcement. This man is already doing more in less than 24 hours than his predecessor did in 4 years. Yesterday was a historic day for President Trump. He signed 42 executive orders, memorandums, and proclamations. He took more than 200 executive actions, on top of giving 3 speeches throughout the day and then attend.
Wait. I just got to say something. I mean, she's a lot easier on the eyes than Karine Jean-Pierre, wouldn't you say? Yeah, I think so.
3 balls late into the early hours of the morning this morning, and he's already off to work again. And so the American people have a leader who is delivering on the promises he made to them. President Trump sending shock and awe yesterday with his actions to secure the southern border, to unleash the might of our energy industry, and to bring jobs back here at home. So the American people have a strong leader in President Trump. There's no doubt about that.
Shock and awe, baby. Shock and awe. KJP, yeah, where are you going to go now? What's your next job? Here's more on that. This was Breaking 911 at the National Prayer Service held at the Washington National Cathedral. Woke Bishop Marianne Booty used her sermon to slam President Trump's policies. I'm not going to play the whole thing again, but let's just take a look from this angle.
Let me make one final plea, Mr. President.
Nah.
Millions have put their trust in you. And as you told the nation yesterday, you have felt the providential hand of a loving God.
Okay, yeah, we're not going to replay that. But you remember those pardons? You know, yesterday we kind of glanced over the fact that Adam Schiff was part of the J6 committee. And dude, yesterday trying to track the news was absolutely insane. Adam Schiff, part of the J6 committee, received a pardon. Not only that, we also covered the fact that Anthony Fauci, Dr. Death, received a pardon as well. Now, everyone was asking the question about why. Why, you see on the screen, 2014. Why was that date selected for Anthony Fauci's pardon? Well, thankfully, we have Tucker Carlson to help us to understand why.
That people don't in this country understand is that the Ukrainian military is selling about half of the arms they get from the United States into international black markets, and they're winding up in some cases with the drug cartels in Latin America. That's a fact. Okay, it's a fact, and you can buy them. And I spoke to someone who did buy some, actually, so I know this is a fact, and they're bragging about it. So they're selling conventional weapons, including weapon systems that are very dangerous and very destabilizing that would make commercial air travel impossible, for example. And so what are they doing with the pathogens in those biolabs? And does the Biden administration have a manifest? Do they know exactly what's in those labs? And will they turn it over to the Trump administration so we can keep track of these things? And the answer is no, actually. The answer is no, I know this.
Wow.
So that's like the scariest thing that's ever happened. I think the Ukraine war has the potential to destabilize the world more than anything that's happened in my lifetime. What the hell? So that's why I'm saying this right now, because I hope this is widely disseminated, because I think it's like the scariest thing I've heard in a long, long time.
The scariest thing. That's why that whole war is coming to an end. Thank God for that. As we recently reported, Vladimir Putin has already stated that he is going to initiate talks with Trump. They already have it scheduled and booked. But okay, taking a look deeper, if you're wondering why Joe Biden chose the year 2014 for the Anthony Fauci pardon, it's because that's when Barack Obama and Fauci took over the Ukraine biolabs. Remember the ones they said didn't exist? 2014 was the year CIA took over the Ukraine government. Under U.S. supervision, Ukraine fell into civil war in February 2014 under Obama. It's all connected. Tucker Carlson, right, you saw, talking about Ukraine biolabs. What are they doing with the pathogens in the biolabs? So it's the scariest thing that's ever happened. The potential to destabilize the world more than anything that's happened in my lifetime. Democrats have been involved with Ukraine biolabs since the CIA overthrew the Ukraine government. It's the whole reason Ukraine was chosen for the war. It's why Anthony Fauci was pardoned back until 2014. The dates line up. Oh, yeah. But if you also remember, when Barack Obama said that we're not going to have any more gain-of-function research in the United States, what do? They outsource it to Wuhan. Okay? That's also the exact same time when Fauci went around Barack Obama and outsourced that work. So it all lines up, my friends. Oh, yeah. Here's more on the... Okay, so check this out. Okay, you guys maybe heard this. Okay, not only have the security clearances of the 51 Hunter Biden laptop hoaxers been revoked, but additional investigations into their activities are also underway. Hans Monkey? Hans, we'll just call him Hans. Hans found this little gem on the White House website. Any additional inappropriate activity that occurred within the intelligence community by anyone contracted by the intelligence community or by anyone who held a security clearance related to the letter signed by the 51 former intelligence officials. Investigations are about to happen. So not only are they getting their security clearance revoked, which they need their security clearance so they can go through that revolving door in Washington, D.C., so they can go on CNN and MSNBC and act like they're security professionals weighing in on the latest information that's happening in the world. They need that. They need that money. We're finding out. I got more on that in a second. But hear this. This is also absolutely amazing. Michael Schellenberger, you know him. He writes, "Victory, the dark age of government censorship of online speech is coming to an end with the executive order just signed by Donald Trump. Yes, restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship." Oh yes, big tech is on notice. No longer will we be subject to things like the Twitter files or the YouTube files, finding out that the White House is picking up the phone and screaming at people on Twitter and YouTube in their offices saying, "You better take down that mean tweet. You better take down that meme because it's disinformation." Those days are over. The FBI should not be out there, policing the Twitter terms of service. or the YouTube terms of service. All right? Maybe they should go find the next, murderer across the border, whatever it is. Not policing online content, the speech of American people. Those days are over. Christopher Rufo, I love this guy. He said they impeached him, deplatformed him, arrested him, convicted him, targeted his company, raided his home. He survived 2 assassination attempts and easily dispatched Kamala Harris. Now he's renaming the Gulf, abolishing DEI, and preparing the SEALs to drop into Mexico. The cartels have no idea what's coming. Oh, yes. And here are the 51 intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. Every single one of them. Oh, yes. Oh, Brennan. Oh, thank God that guy. That guy's the worst of the worst. Brennan. Who else? We got Clapper. We've got, all these people. I'm going to retweet. I think it's already on our X profile. You can go and see it for yourself in detail. But those 51 people that signed off on that lie, that impeded in our election in 2020, that helped give Joe Biden fodder for that debate. Remember when Joe Biden's like, yeah, there were 51 intelligence officials that said the laptop was just Russian disinformation. Howdy ho. Remember? Yeah. These people aided and abetted in the criminal theft of the 2020 election. Thank God. Oh, and speaking of being tone deaf, did you see Amy Klobuchar's tweet? Thank you, President Joe Biden, for dedicating your life to public service. Your unwavering courage, compassion, and steadfast commitment to the American people have shown us the power of unity and the importance of putting country over self. That's the last line. The importance of putting country over self. Oh, but I had a thing or two to say about that. Oh, yes. If you were following me on X, you would have already seen this. It's almost breathtaking, isn't it? The sickness of these politicians reveals itself so clearly in their own words. Senator Klobuchar actually thanked Joe Biden for his unwavering courage in putting country over self. Really? Is that what you call pardoning your entire family? You call that unity? Compassion? It's laughable. This is not public service. It is self-service on steroids, and they expect you to applaud. Golf clap for Joe Biden. Nah. That's the sound of seals clapping. Yeah. Oh, my goodness. It's crazy. And then we've got this Adam Schiff. Can you believe this guy? This guy, another one. Oh, he's complaining about the January 6th pardons. 4 years ago, officers of the law stood their ground to protect members of Congress and staff as violent insurrectionists stormed the Capitol. Oh, Adam, I'm going to skip all this mess. At the bottom, he says here, this is what's funny. Instead, we may be witnessing something worse. The newest milestone along the road to autocracy, in which a president pardons those who do violence on his behalf and encourages others to do more of the same. If there's anyone that has affected more violence with their lies, it is Adam Schiff himself. So it is just classic gaslighting and lies from this now senator. I was hoping he'd lose that election. But nope, now he is a senator, and we have to endure more. But don't worry, we will hold him accountable. Just because he got a pardon doesn't mean he gets away scot-free. Because we will try him in the court of public opinion. Oh, yes, we will. Ultra MAGA writes on the quote tweet of that, Adam Schiff accepted a presidential pardon for his crimes. He must be removed from all committee assignments immediately, as must any of the J6 committee that received a pardon for their crimes. As we talked about yesterday, if you accept the pardon, the Supreme Court has ruled that it is an admission of guilt for your crimes. Therefore, his acceptance of the pardon has now excluded him from participating in any security clearance or committees that would require it. Bye-bye, Adam Schiff. I hope you are listening, Donald J. Trump. Of course he is. He's watching right now. He always watches the show. Ken Warren had this to say, Adam admitted guilt and got his pardon from Sleepy Joe. On his way out the door, Adam Schiff is now a confessed criminal. And remember Baked Alaska? Yeah, that Trump supporter? Well, he's been officially pardoned by Donald Trump. Just one more voice we can add to the choir of people giving thanks to Donald Trump. He says, thank you to everyone who's always supported me over the years. It's a bit emotional for me knowing that 1,500 patriots were just freed. My probation is terminated. God is so good. We have this too from this coming in. ALX writes, President Trump has done more in 12 hours than Biden did in 4 years. You ready for this? Okay. 42 executive orders, memoranda, proclamations, 115 personnel actions, more than 200 executive actions, 60 minutes of press Q&A, and 3 historic speeches. And here is the photo that everyone has seen. Look at this beautiful, look at that stack. That is history. And they got the Post-it notes. Oh, yeah. You know, when they would hand the executive orders to Joe Biden, he didn't have any clue what he was even talking about. No clue at all. That's right. Daddy is home, and we did it. Here's Curtis Houck. See, President Trump. Let's see what he's talking about here. President Trump, you've seen the other living presidents a couple times. Oh, this is interesting. Referencing Bill Clinton. Okay, listen.
You better get up to...
President Trump, you've seen the other living presidents a couple times in the last few months. If you ever had to call on one of them for advice about anything that's going on here, which one would you call?
It's an interesting. Well, I thought Bill Clinton was a very good politician. I don't think he was used properly. I think they disrespected him. When Hillary was running, he came back and he said, you know, you better get up to Michigan and Wisconsin. You remember that, Peter?
Wow.
Every house has a Trump sign on it. And they all laughed at him because the Republicans hadn't won Michigan or Wisconsin for decades, long time. And they all laughed at Bill Clinton. Like, the hell does he know? And he turned out to be right because I won both of them. And then we just won both in this election, too. We won Wisconsin and Michigan and every other swing state. We won all the swing states, all 7. They talked about 7 swing states. We won them all. So, but Bill Clinton he had a great political sense, I think.
Oh, I didn't expect that today, but here we are in the golden age of America. We also have this from Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban. President Trump often spoke of him, and he was referring to the executive orders that Trump has just signed. Let's listen in.
Amit mindenki láthat, akinek van szeme a látás.
We should have translated that for you, but I'm sorry. What anyone with eyes can see is that the Western liberal model of state organization, what they call liberal democracy, has failed. It has collapsed under its own weight, or more precisely, under the weight of its own mistakes. The site of its downfall, none other than the birthplace, the United States. An over-bureaucratized state system, over-regulated economy, a state unable to move or act, a state that works no longer. For its citizens, but against them, this is what the Americans have rebelled against. The American rebellion opens the space, provides opportunities, and legitimizes the competition between the ways of organizing the state. Right in front of us is the arm wrestling match between American and Brussels systems. Wow. Quite a remark, wouldn't you say? And then we have this, President Trump firing Chef Jose Andres, who was pictured with his attempted assassin. Yes, the would-be assassin of Donald Trump, outside of Trump Doral in Miami. Here's the picture. This is the guy. And he was employed by Joe Biden, the guy on the left there, who employed the guy on the right. is still up for debate. However, he is no longer employed by the president. He was working for the Joe Biden's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. Now, I'm not an expert on sports, fitness, or nutrition, but I can tell you this guy looks like he needs a little bit more sports, fitness, and nutrition. Okay, so that is just a tip of the iceberg. We've got this now. President Trump, 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting February 1st. Buckle up.
We're thinking in terms of 25% on Mexico and Canada because they're allowing vast numbers of people. Canada's a very bad abuser also. Vast numbers of people to come in and fentanyl to come in.
When do you think you would enact those?
I think February 1st.
Are you planning on giving notice of that?
I think we'll do it February 1st.
25% on both, sir?
Sir, on each.
On each, yeah.
We're thinking in terms of 25%
February
on Mexico.
1st is the day that Canada dreads. And then we have this, Donald Trump firing Mark Milley from the National Infrastructure Advisory Council. A court-martial would be more appropriate, but maybe that's on the horizon. And then we have this post. This is the official announcement from Donald Trump on his Truth Social. He says, our first day in the White House is not over. My presidential personnel office is actively in the process of identifying and removing over 1,000 presidential appointees from the previous administration who are not aligned with our vision to make America great again. Let this serve as official notice of dismissal for these 4 individuals, with many more coming soon. Jose Andres from the Presidential Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition, Mark Milley from the National Infrastructure Advisory Council, Brian Hook from the Wilson Center for Scholars, and Keisha Lance Bottoms. You may recall her from her time at MSNBC. And apparently she was on the President's Export Council, and Trump announcing, you're fired, to all of them. And many more are coming. And then we've got this, the DOGE. Yeah, baby, the DOGE has now got its own website, DOGE.gov, an official website of the United States government, the Department of Government Efficiency. And look at the logo. He's got the DOGE dog on the website. Department of Government Efficiency's website is live on Doge.gov with the Dogecoin on it, the official website. Oh, it's only getting better. And did you guys hear about this? Okay. I think I need to point this out. Okay, hang on. I'm going to get to this. There's a thread here. Oh, okay. Before I get to that, did you hear about we've been covering the drone situation in New Jersey? And just before Trump was inaugurated as the 47th president, he hosted all these Republican governors at Mar-a-Lago. And he said after he is inaugurated, he says day one, he's going to get to the bottom of whatever was flying over New Jersey. And he's already put the ball in motion. Listen.
Interesting, right?
But is it anything these drones? Is it anything that people need to be worried about?
No, I think it's terrible. I would like to find out what it is and tell the people.
And can you commit to some kind of...
In fact, I'd like to do that. Could we find out what that was, Susie? Okay? Yeah, why don't we find out immediately? I mean, I can't imagine it's an enemy or there would have been, people would have gotten blown up all over. Maybe they were testing things. I don't know why they wouldn't have said what it was. They had a lot of them flying over Bedminster, which is interesting, right?
And with the events today,
so Donald Trump already getting to the bottom of the drone situation. Here's my friend Adam Lowitz, who says he's a former Democrat, proud to have voted for Trump. Thank you, Elon and Trump, for making America great again. Yeah, Adam, a good guy. He will do anything for his fellow MAGA Republican Trump supporters. Okay, now, this is interesting. This is interesting. I didn't quite know anything about this organization called the Senior Executive Service. I looked into it, and it was a group of like middle management that was put in place by Jimmy Carter. All right. Well, President Trump just got rid of them all.
Workforce. What are you signing now? It's an executive order relating to reforms to the federal workforce, including to the Senior Executive Service.
We're getting rid of all of the cancer. I call it cancer. The cancer caused by the Biden administration.
The cancer is being cut out. They call this the Keystone, the Senior Executive Service, a very interesting group that acts as a liaison between the executive branch and some of the executive departments, and supposedly helps the president execute the law. But if these people are compromised, guess what? They are going to follow their own agenda. They act as like, someone whispering in someone's ear, like, oh, don't pay attention to that, slow walk this, right? So he just basically cut the cancer out. Oh, yes, it's a great day in America. Okay, we got this. Wall Street apes. Speaking of the DOGE, let's listen in to what Senator Rand Paul has to say.
The ice skater lists $1 trillion of taxpayer money spent on some truly bizarre pet projects, like $10,000 that was given to the Bearded Ladies Cabaret to fund ice skating shows about climate change. $32,000 was spent on breakdancing. Nearly $500,000 was spent to determine if lonely rats seek out cocaine more than happy rats.
Now, to be clear, what you're seeing here, this is obviously a clip from Fox, but she's referring to Rand Paul's annual Festivus report where he discloses all the ridiculous government funding. Why this is important is because it gives DOGE a roadmap of what to cut out. I mean, bearded lady, ice skating for climate change. What? Yeah. And of course, as you know, Ron Paul is assisting with Elon Musk and DOGE. Now we are also learning Vivek Ramaswamy is out. He is going to be pursuing other political ventures in Ohio. But anyway, I digress. Let's finish this.
$2 million was paid for Paraguayan border security because who needs a secure U.S. border anyway? Wow. $12 million to fund a pickleball complex in Las Vegas. $20 million to air a Sesame Street spinoff about inclusion and mutual respect, not here in the U.S., but in Iraq. And $10 billion on maintaining, leasing, and furnishing almost entirely empty buildings. Ghost towns on your dime. And all of this wasteful spending brings to mind this Trump tweet from 2014. He wrote, quote, "I hope we never find life on another planet, because if we do, there's no doubt that the United States will start sending them money."
Yeah, DOGE has got its work cut out for them. What else have we got here? Let's see. We got the Clinton clip. We got that. We got the tariffs. We got Milley. We got DOGE. Oh, this is an interesting moment that occurred during the signing session. A reporter asked President Trump, "Mr. President, you surround yourself with a lot of billionaires." Listen to his response.
Doing that.
Mr. President, you surround yourself with a whole bunch of billionaires today. President Biden, in his farewell address, quarterback in all of our hands. What are you responsible?
Well, he had a lot of guys, and then they found out that he didn't know what the hell he was talking about, and I think they deserted him doing that.
Oh, I mean, he's clearly talking about the coup. Remember, they were all lining up. Joe Biden's got this thing. And then all of a sudden he does that debate with Donald Trump on CNN, which I believe was a setup to expose Joe Biden and his frailty. It was laid bare for the world to see. And all the billionaires, all of the Hollywood celebrities, the Clooneys, everyone came out and they basically just stabbed him in the back and said, bye-bye, we're done. They realized that the gig was up, that the media couldn't cover for Joe Biden anymore. And that's really clearly what President Trump's talking about. I want to bring up this point here. We spoke about it earlier with respect to the Senior Executive Service. Now, Laura Logan, she says this is not a joke. The Senior Executive Service is literally part of the deep state, a layer of bureaucracy that is ruled without accountability and, according to its own rules, undermining the people. And by signing this executive order and getting rid of it, Tommy says that Trump just castrated the deep state. Bookmark it. So we have so much happening right now. This is, we're only in day 1.5 technically of this new administration. What else is happening here? Oh, we've got this clip here from December 2020. Joe Biden will go down in history as the worst president ever on so many levels. He's been a liar, a plagiarist, and corrupt his entire career. What is this? We got a clip here from
laws. President Trump is reportedly considering a wave of preemptive pardons. Does this concern you? All these preemptive pardons?
Well, it concerns me in terms of what kind of precedent it sets and how the rest of the world looks at us as a nation of laws and justice. You're not going to see that kind of approach to pardons, nor are you going to see in our administration the approach to making policy by tweets. It's just going to be a totally different way in which we approach the justice system.
President Trump is reportedly...
yeah, that's what he said back in 2020 as he goes ahead and pardons his entire family. This was the beginning of that signing ceremony with President Trump kicking off the golden age of America. And looks like we've got some reactions as well. Breaking news, Trump is the president of America. Now, do not think to F around. I cried happy tears. Listen to this person.
And he's gonna.
We can see you're emotional right now. How are you feeling?
Free after 4 years ago and all that crap they pulled down here. We are free.
We're back.
We're back. Donald Trump is back and he's going to save this country. Screw you, Biden. And all you people.
What are you most excited for these next 4 years?
The January 6th prisoners to get out of jail. For them to be free. That's what I'm going for.
Today we saw Joe Biden pardon Anthony Fauci in the J6 committee.
That's because they're criminals. You only have to pardon criminals, and they're all a bunch of criminals. Absolutely. We are free. We are free. We're America. We're back. Yes.
Free at last. Free at last. And God Almighty, we are free at last. Oh, yes. Oh, we got this too. Yes, here is the Department of Government Efficiency posting some progress. The Chief Diversity Officer's Executive Council. This was the Joe Biden website on January 19th, 2025. And here it is now. Blah, deleted. 404, page not found. Goodbye. Meanwhile, we've got the Nelk boys, of course. This is back in January of 2013. January 13th, excuse me. And then we've got this, President Trump signing his first few executive orders during his signing ceremony. During that moment, he was asked about Biden's last-minute pardons.
I'm not going to discuss. Maybe something to think about.
Thank you. Good acoustics. Yes.
All right. Now
That's
thank
it.
you. We go to lunch.
Great. Very
Nice
good.
to meet you. Thank you very much. There we go. Take that. All right. See you. Thank you, Mr.
Thanks, sir.
President, did you have a good meeting with former President Biden?
Very nice. Very nice. It's a beautiful custom.
Mr. President,
It goes back as long as helicopters. Before that, it was a stagecoach. But I thought it was beautiful. Thank you. Great job. Great job.
Thank you.
Check.
Mr. President, do you have any reaction to the pardons President Biden did at the last minute?
Well, I'm not going to discuss it now. I think it was unfortunate that he did that. We won't discuss it now. There's plenty of time to discuss it.
Thank you very much, guys.
Should we go to lunch? Yeah, let's go do that.
Very much.
Okay.
Head to lunch?
Ready for lunch? Okay. Thank you.
That's a wrap. Being asked about the Biden pardons. Trump was also throwing out pens during another signing ceremony on stage. So much amazing things happening, and we are only in the first day. Amazing stuff, friends. Amazing stuff. So, let me get this straight. In just one day, Trump has revoked security clearances, terminated woke military leadership, and started dismantling the administrative state. But here's the question nobody's asking. Why did these unelected bureaucrats have so much power in the first place? And more importantly, who gave it to them? When you start pulling on that thread, some very interesting things start to unravel. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. We want to hear what you think about Trump's executive order tsunami. Speaking of tsunamis, our exclusive Mag Avengers collection at the Next News merch shop is making waves. Grab yours before the liberals try to cancel it.